Hey everyone, I want to share some exciting news. So I recently took my SIE exam and I passed on the first try. I'm super thrilled. Like some of you might know from my last video, I took the Series 65 and I failed the first 3 attempts and I passed on the 4th attempt. So to go from that a couple years ago to now passing the SIE on the first try meant a lot to me because that was just on the back of my mind. There's nothing worse than failing than to reset everything and have to study everything all over again, things that you think you already know. When I failed the Series 65, I fell by 2 points twice, which really hurts, right? So for this one, I want to be over prepared, if anything, because I knew like right after the SIE, I have to start studying for the 7. So I just want to get it out the way, right? And it was even harder this time around because I have a 1-year-old, so I want to spend as much time with her as possible, and I still have work and I have a wife and family, etc. But I was able to make time whenever I can, like, wake up early, or I would stay up late. Even when we were on our trip on a cruise, I was still studying. So what I find is that a lot of people will start studying and stop studying. You have to be consistent because you want to retain the information as much as possible. So it's important to at least study, or if you can't study, take a practice exam daily. And that's what I was doing. Like if I couldn't study one day, I at least took an exam to get my brain thinking about the exam and have it on the back of my head like, hey, you got to study tomorrow if you didn't study today, right? So what did I use to study? I used Achievable. That was the primary course that I used. And I joined the Reddit community on SIE. And so I can, listen to other people's thoughts on the exam. And everybody on Reddit said the Achievable exam was way easier than the real exam. And I found that to be totally not true. Like, so on the Achievable, I took about 28 practice exam, and my highest score was probably a 73, and most of the other exams I failed. Like it was high 60s, so I only got over 70 maybe once or twice. And then I was also using Training Consultant, which is now Exam Effects, because they have really good videos that I enjoyed. And then 3 days before the exam, I went and got Kaplan, and I took their simulated exam. And my average score, I took like 4 tests, I got like a 73, 74. And my real exam, they don't tell you the real score. Obviously, if you pass, you just passed. You don't really know. But I think I did really well. If I had to guess, I would say somewhere in the 80s or whatever, because I didn't really mark a lot of questions to review. I felt really good about the exam. It was like very straightforward. They didn't really try to trick you as much as they typically do. So I thought it was a really good exam, fair. And they add an extra 10 questions that could throw you off here and there. So I try to pay no mind to that. I try to answer each question and even mark whatever I think is wrong to review later, even if I think it's a fake question or not. You just never know. So yeah, so the SIE, like I said, it's just a preliminary for the Series 7, right? And another great thing that I found while I was studying for the SIE exam was the Series 7 guru. He has a lot of stuff on YouTube to help you with like the exam. He even breaks down the whole exam and what they could test you on. But the most important thing I did listen to was he has a 60-minute segment where he talks about things to look out for in the exam. So something that he put together to listen to prior to the exam. So I was listening to the day of the exam. I actually listened to the day before as well. Just play it in the car and just listen. And when you're taking the exam, you might remember one thing that's going to help you during the exam. And then when it comes to the real exam, it's not a lot of option questions. It might have been like 4 or 5. So like, don't go crazy. I feel like some people spend too much time trying to understand option, which if you're taking a 7, you really need to know. But like, if you have a limited time and step 1 is the SIE, just try to get the basis of it to prepare to pass your SI. After that, you want to dig deeper and really understand it as much as possible. What else? It wasn't a lot of too much stuff on regulations. Really, and it's a lot of just point and click. Like, you'll read a question and you're like, oh, it's obviously B. So it's more geared towards that. Helpful tips for you guys about to take your exam. Just study every day. If you don't study every day, take a practice test the day of. Don't get down on yourself. You're gonna take, the practice test, and you might not do so well, and it doesn't matter, right? Just take another one. When I fail, I'm like actually excited because now I get a chance to understand something I didn't understand before. So look at it that way. Just because you failed, it's like, what if you guess you got it right and you just skim through it? No, you want to actually understand why you got it wrong, so that if they ask you again in a different way, you'll understand the concept. Okay? Watch a lot of videos, take a lot of notes. I even bought like new pens for when I was studying. Like, this is really comfortable to write with, and I wrote a lot. I'll put a link below for you guys. I also put a link for the Series 7 Guru videos that I watched. And if you guys have any questions or anything, send me an email.